Hello, everybody. Welcome. Where's the psychic investigator? Today's Monday, February 2nd, and there's a lot going on, isn't there? It's funny I have this mark because of the glasses. I'll have it on my old friends. We're old friends by now. So I don't even know where to start. It's like I start getting to the rabbit holes, and it's insane. There's so much to talk about. But let's go back to, I don't want to lose the thread on the EPS files. A question. I was sifting through all the links and all those things, and I have a question that is broad, but it's significant, which is about the files, okay? And the question is, what haven't we seen, right? I mean, there's millions and millions and millions of files. A lot of them really shocking and awful, and a lot of people, not a lot of people, people have started to resign in different countries. Somebody in, I think, was it Serbia, Sweden, other places. And some friends of Jeffrey's who are wellness uh, advisors and others. But the question, so there's a lot that I can look at, right, from the things that we have seen. But this question is something that occurred to me as almost the most, it's not pressing. Is the question really is what haven't we seen? And what will it see? Okay, so let's do protection. I'd like to ask for protection. A beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I fill my lungs. As I breathe out, I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that it create the good and only the good. So it is. So I wanted to mention also that throughout the weekend, as I was reading and looking at all this, the hundreds of links, it occurred to me that there was so much more information than I expected, to be honest. I don't know what I expected, but definitely not this level of clarity between the tech bros, Russians, and Epstein, and the prominent role that Russia has played in all this. I was surprised, to be honest with you, because I've always thought that that is the thing that will take him down in terms of this APS list, right? Because it's not, and I don't mean, I've said this, I know this can be controversial when I say it. The abuse is not in itself the thing that will take these people down. It's the money and the political quid pro quo, right? That they've done favors for in exchange for certain things. Obviously, there's the implication of the blackmail. Some of this material talks about it. It's not always super overt. But does it make sense? I think this is the thing that this batch of files has really made it clear how many people, how so many of these super influential people are connected to this man. It's crazy. And how he was a mover and shaker, putting aside his activity of essentially procuring girls for these men. Okay. So, and then using, right, the information to get things from these men. And then, later, right, creating compromise. That's the business model. So it's really, I don't even know where to start, right, about this. Like, this is the key, I think, to everything, and how a lot of these networks now are going to go down because, right, it's undeniable. And like I said, I've seen the incredible silence of people, like in the tech world or whatever. Nobody's saying anything about Peter Thiel, even though it's very obvious and overt. And then I'm getting, oh, I get even. Okay, let me do did I do protection? Let me do it again, just in case. I'd like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that I create the good and none of the good, and so it is. Okay, so so now let's go to this question. Oh no, okay, let me go back. So Jeffrey is coming. He's laughing again at the Teal. It's like, oh, he was so full of himself. And he's saying there's more. There's a lot more meetings and strategy conversations about the world and parties as well. Okay. So, okay. And yeah, Jeff is like, yeah, where is he? Wow. Guys, sometimes I don't know, the spirit of this is, okay. I see this scythe, right? The cutting, he's showing the motion of Peter Thiel, like getting his neck, like he's gone. Like, when someone's going to be fired, that's the same gesture. Doesn't mean that he's going to be unalived. But what I find interesting is that from this other side perspective, that's how he passed. We know that, right? It was an accident what happened to him. And he's like, yeah. But that he so easily makes this gesture, in other words, it's sort of, he says, nobody escapes life unscathed. That's right. They think they're going to get away with this just because I'm on the other side. No, no, no. So, and I see that he shows himself as being the Rasputin. Rasputin was this figure, was sort of like a cult leader in Tsarish Russia. And he was like this, like, he, but I think Rasputin was more, he was more, like, because what he get from these emails is that these men are really like, no, that's what I was. No, he's saying it's the same thing. He was like playing his music and everybody would follow him. But he's saying there was an element of seduction. Like they fell into this lifestyle and that's what they loved. And that's what I was selling them, a lifestyle where they could get away with anything. And it was sex and power. That's it. And they could do anything. I could fulfill all their fantasies, right? That kind of fantasies or whatever. No matter how evil, I would make it happen for them. So they were seduced by me and the lifestyle and the fact that they could share their darkest thoughts and I could make them come true. They didn't quite know they could make a deal with the devil, kind of. But that's what it was. No. Okay. But he's saying no, they're not getting away with it. No. Wow. He's saying when they signed my death warrants, I signed theirs. But I don't feel like necessarily passing away, but the career or the facade or the name. That's why they were so afraid of me. This whole time they were so afraid of me. That's right. That's right. Wow, okay. And then he's showing me Barr and he's pointing, he's like, he arranged things. Do you think those things happened randomly? A lot of people had to be looking the other way. A lot of people had to be looking the other way. I was like, come on. He arranged everything. And then he went on public and said, where's Jeffrey? Jeffrey, he said, oh, Jeffrey, it was a suicide. He went, how did he know that, right? 30 minutes, the news comes out, he knows, oh, it's a suicide. Ha ha. He came, wow, he's saying he came in with orders to get rid of me because I knew too much. And I was about to take down the whole Christian crew. That Barr is Christian. He's actually Catholic. His Opus Dei, that's right. And Opus, wow, 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 wow. He's saying something. He's saying something. He's saying Opus Dei is involved in the human trafficking side of things. And I know all about that, Rosie. I know all about that. And it's dark, dark, dark. But he's saying that but that was the back office, kind of. I ran the front office where I sold the lifestyle to the men. And then I got them to pay me whatever I wanted. But there's a whole back office happening. I didn't do it alone, of course. Wow, okay. But there were a lot of wow, wow, okay. So he's telling me indeed that this is about this network of power and this belief that a sick belief, a hypocritical belief that there's an elite, quote unquote, in the world. And those people are entitled to exploitation. They want to do whatever they want and nobody should stand in. Does it make sense? It's almost I don't want beyond, of course it's more than a mental illness. It's pure evil, right? Where they could do anything they want to other humans, they can get away with it. And that was Epstein's lab, that anything was possible, right? And they could experiment at the detriment of the lives of vulnerable people. Lives, and some of them survive. Wow, saying some of them. Whoa, so okay. Guys, as you know, Or Jeffrey, can you just pause, please? Motor mouth situation. I need to say this. I really, when people bring to me such and such, they give me send me links of some testimony. Sometimes I don't. I'm like, I don't want to watch it. It's too dark for me to like just process all of it. Right? True. Like when I see like I just can't there's limits. It's very, very, very draining. It hurts a lot. Like not just hurt, but it's the darkness of it. It could just take somebody like me down for days. I'm serious, and I know I'm not the only one, right? A lot of people who are sensitive, let's just say, they have that. It's too much. Okay, really, a lot of it. But the fact that he's just telling me, I'm not asking, right? I'm not asking, have you done this and that? This is also one of the reasons, guys. Some people say, has X, they come with the outcome and they ask me, has X, Y, and Z happened? And it's usually better when the thing just comes. You just leave something open, information comes, as opposed to predetermining the information and checking, is it true or not? That is very limiting, and it's very limiting to me, I find. So now that I have said these things, let's go back here. So, well, he did mention, or who's now he's saying spirits are mentioning. Jeffrey's not, and I see that Jeffrey is the spirit, whoever is here sounds, there's like Jeffrey. He's um kind of gone backwards. Like he's sort of faded away. He can't talk about it. He's still processing that part of the suffering and the level of harm he has done. But he's here to remind the men that they are not going to get away with it. He's not the only one. Okay, does that make sense? So, and he's not going to be the scapegoat for everybody else. Information is going to come out about all of them, including Trump. Wow. Okay. Let me pause here because it's a lot. Okay, where am I even? Because okay, tell me more. So I kind of asked him here if there were instances of unaliving, and I showed, and I don't want to, guys, please don't ask me details about this. I don't want to know. I don't want to be, because I have to witness it. And it's like I said, I just get this information that yes, and that there were some accidents, quote unquote, with the girls. And in some cases there was suicide. They wanted to end their lives because of the things they went through. In other cases, and it's showing me interestingly like that in that way the suicides were murder, really, because these were innocent souls that they were pushed into this world that was so dark. That was the only way out for them. Does make sense, life was completely unbearable because of what was done to them. So okay. And then for accidents there was instances, it's saying it's not that it was planned, but some of the things were truly dark and secret, and somewhere between the dark and the secret. If things went too far, then it had to be controlled, right? Something had to be done. How do you think all this information was kept secret all this time? Because people were pushed, they're pushed not to talk too much. And things were kept hidden because a lot of these people, they have billions and billions of dollars, how do you think they were how do you think they were managing, I mean, right? So he's like, what? And he's like, okay, just stay away. You're a sick man. You're learning, but don't talk to me like that. And he's like, wow, it's interesting. I'm getting it. Like, I can understand you. Good on you, Rose. You're gonna do well. You're gonna do. It's gonna be a workout for you. You said some truths. He's like mocking me, but be almost as if it's like he doesn't understand what it's like to be a person who is not like him, right? Who is sort of like operating from the basest and lowest of drives, and who is all about power and corrupting minors, but also and like pushing these men to rely on their darkest impulses, because that's how they get vulnerable, Rosie. That's how you get powerful people to do whatever you want, is when you push them to listen to the devils on their shoulder. You know what I mean? I'm Yeah, I was kind of like them. I was kind of like the devil on their shoulder, except that I was cold enough to know what to record. Wow, okay. Okay, so someone asked in the comments yesterday in the video I did the part one, they asked, does he have any remorse for the things he has done? And he's interesting. I see that he's like walking with as if he has his hands on his pocket, and he's like, I'm here to I've come back to help bring justice to the men, but I can't comment on that yet. I haven't got, like, I think he's not advanced enough to have gone to have, how do you say it? It's not cleanse himself, but it's saying in order for him to get to the point where he has remorse and consciousness, and he has to go through, saying, 2000 years of reviews or something, because he has to go through, he has to observe the pain that the victims have felt, each one of them, in real time, so that he can understand what it's like, because it's still too early for that. This is how underdeveloped he is. So I have a question, but if he's so underdeveloped, how come he's talking to me saying that? Wow, and I see, and I get these shapes, like these light beings saying that this was part of how we designed his, I don't want to say spirit, whatever this is that he's his spirit, I think, say this this creature thing, energy, how the role they had to play in the world, right? So it's part of, I think healing is a strong word, but it's part of his processing, that he has to go through this. He could show up and speak now, but not develop the level of empathy that he understands what he has done. Does it make sense? Because it will take a long, 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 long time until there is in-depth consciousness. Because every time he engaged in the lowest impulses, it was a form of almost like the brain lizard, like lizard brain, they call it, right? Where there's a almost like an escapism, or like where there's, I don't know if they become but unconscious, but it's almost as if, almost obviously, in order for them to do what they did, they had to be, as far as possible, from empathy. They had to completely objectify these girls. So, okay. So that's the story. Wow. So this has become very an interesting discussion. But I still want to I think this is the moment to ask about what we haven't seen. What is on the files that we haven't seen that is damaging about Trump, or that is from Trump? Because he is the number one person in the files, and really, we have barely seen anything, right? We have barely seen anything. So what is in it? And by the way, a lot of the information that has been posted here, not here, like from the files, are testimony, people calling in tip lines and saying, describing things. But I want, like, more concrete. I don't know exactly what I want, but I like to know, is there, what else is there in these files that is damaging enough? I don't know exactly, like I said, what are we missing? Wow, children. Like, saying that the girls were pregnant and they got rid of the kids. Wow, it's saying that there may be a child that is still alive. They they don't know. They don't know it. Who the father is, but it's trash, sadly, for the child. Another thing is, what else? Tell me more. Pouring. There's some abusing. Like, it's saying pouring hot something on somebody. Burns created, like to that level. I don't want to, guys, and please, spirit, don't show me things that I can't process it. I'm not gonna be able to sleep for days if I don't want to know. Just tell me, broadly speaking, disappearance of some of them. Uh, names of people that they need to check on, quote unquote. And I'm like, this is like a nail clipper. I'm like, touching it because it's intense. Money, okay. More information about the Russians and Trump and how Epstein traveled to Russia and heard about Trump and how to deal with Trump and how he transferred information to Russians. And there's more and more of that in those files. And somehow it has to do with Trump. How the secretary, there's file transfers, also hackers. Hackers had information. And somehow he knew. It's interesting. Somehow he knew. How, I see an image of him sitting through, like, in front of a computer with, I think, Russians. And he's saying, and they're like, this is what we have on this and that person. He's like, okay, I have this and this and that about this and that person. You don't have to, let's like share and like create this database, mutual database, something like that of information. Okay. That's right. We ran a business together and they were part of the back office. I was the front office, like I said. Okay, so what else? Business, all kinds of saying Trump and Epstein had a real business going with the modeling agencies, right? And all those, and there's a lot of activity surrounding these pageants. It's saying the woman Erika Kirk, even. How she was in a pageant where Trump was the owner of. So, oh wow. Yeah, wow. Mm. And I see that there is something just saying it's true that she's been used as a quote unquote honeypot, and it's not legitimate. Wow, okay, this is like so weird. I'm not saying that she, but they're saying there's something tangential here. And it's saying that, okay, as you know, I don't align with Charlie Kirk and his a lot of these statements were just really awful about a lot of people. But I have a question. Did she actually like him, or was it some kind of like high level intelligence operation? She was working in those areas. There was like, that's right. She was part of this network, and he was a target of that network. They knew that he was like going to be, that's right. He was going to be a powerful person that brought audiences around him, and they had to put somebody to kind of monitor his activity in a way. So yeah. I think she did like him, but there is just something very cold here, to be honest with you. Wow. So, oh, guys, today, I don't know. I need to pause. I need to do another part three because I almost feel like I can handle the amount of information. So let's try to go back to Trump because that's the goal. So what else is there? Seeing the burial. By the way, I read somewhere somebody said something about some sort of like a golf club burial, but it's saying that then I read that the golf club didn't exist until much later than the person mentioned. But it's saying there's yes, wow, it is guys, I mean, for entertainment purposes only, but I'm getting yes, there's bodies. He I say he and Epstein often did not even they may not have caused the unaliving of somebody, but they were involved in it somehow. And this is part of a saint. So and I see that wow, it's showing me that something on a boat or something like that, that there is this like very dark connection between them because they have witnessed some of the darkest things ever. they have done it. Does it make sense? They were in the same room as these very dark things were happening. So this creates sort of like, if you, I used to watch a lot of crime shows. That's funny. Now I don't watch anymore because maybe the world is just too dark as is. But anyway, so there's like this, it's like this crime shows, it's like if a person participates in some sort of like crime, then that it becomes like an intense memory, and some of them will end up having to talk because they can't handle, it's so intense the experience. But that's what it's saying, that they experience these very intense things. That's how close they, and it's almost like, okay, this is like, I'm trying to put words into this because it's so creepy. It's saying it's almost like a sexual activity, but not like the intensity of her harming somebody. It's like there's this, and you know how they talk about serial killers or whatever having this like intense, like they want to relive it. They want to, it's like that level of intensity for those people. There's like all these intense feelings. Please God, I don't want to see this. I don't want to know how it is for them. It's too much. But he's saying that it's like they feel above, it's saying committing crimes for those types of people and observing others feel harm, feel pain, makes them feel powerful because they feel like that's when they see themselves as being the true perpetrators of things. So this makes sense. Like it's like if somebody's is crying, that means I'm not. I'm the one making it happen. Therefore, I'm out powerful. How sick they were. So okay. So then, how is the world? I mean, is the world going to know? Yes, we will know. It's just the beginning. A lot of information is going to come out very quickly. And then it shows me again the image of the NATO guy, Rute, adding his own information. Like it doesn't make sense. They're going to make sure that more information comes out about this. That is more incriminating. Okay. Many sources are going to add to this, and it's not going to come from the DOJ necessarily. Okay. So, wow. So, wow, guys, I'm sorry. I feel like I've been in a weird trance, but I'm going to pause because I don't want to, I want to cleanse after this and then continue. There's more to talk about. It's almost like there's so much here, right? That like it shows me like, when you turn on, there's like a lot of water pressure. And the thing just like starts like exploding out. That's what it is. So I'm gonna go for now, and thank you for watching. And I'll be back very soon, maybe tonight again or tomorrow. All right? Okay. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.